Hey, welcome back to the Yamaha Chappy HPI installation part 2. We had some problems with the install following part 1, so I'm back doing it all over again. And what we discovered, we being my friend Carl and I, we discovered that the stator was shorting out through the case. And what had happened was, in using the screws I had to connect, and it could have happened with any metal screws, to connect the stator plate to the case, I scratched off the paint, and so basically the stator was grounding out through the plate, through the metal screw into the case. At least that was, I think, our main issue. Hopefully our only issue. There could be other issues involved yet, but so what I did was I went out. Well, I tried to find these locally, but these are M5 screws or bolts that connect the stator plate to the case instead of the M6 like the QT50. And you can find M6 plastic license plate screws and bolts at like Home Depot or Lowers, but I got these through Amazon, and actually these M5, these shorter ones, are what I used. Hopefully they hold everything just fine, and you've got to be careful because when they bottom out or when they get tight, the head will break off. So I broke a couple, but you can just unscrew them with, grab the nub with pliers and unscrew them. So I've tested for continuity through the case, and I do not have continuity so far with these plastic screws. So that's telling me it's not grounding out through the case. So now we will continue. I'll pick us back up here in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and install the stator. And the other issue I had was when I put on the cover, I got these wires caught between the cover and this. So you've got to make sure they go through this channel. And so I'll tape those back up, but I just undid the sheathing or the plastic, the rubber insulation or whatever, just to see if the wires were damaged. You could see where I smashed them, but I think they're all fine. So I'll tape that back up. And then finally, I guess while we're here, I had initially lined up the line on the mini rotor with this arrow here, but that's not right. So the Chappy flywheel spins counterclockwise, and the only mark that I could see is right here above the eye. Looks like a special mark. I'm going to have to get in for a closer view of this. Let me scoot you up so you can see, hopefully. So you can see that mark above the eye right there. It's got like an arrow. And then on the other side, there's a mark above the T, and it's got an arrow. So I think on the Chappy, since it rotates counterclockwise, you line up initially the mark on the mini rotor with the mark here above the eye. So I think that was my other issue. So I'll come back in a minute. Okay, and we'll let this truck go by. We're going to have to do some more testing. Well, I think I've got the stator plate, the stator, and the rotor set up right. Something might be preventing me, or preventing this from working, and it might be this three-position switch. From the original stator, you've got 4 wires. So we got our black and white kill, green and red, a green, and a yellow. Yellow lights. I forget the green and red and the green, but basically, especially these 3, if you look at the wiring diagram, they go to different positions on this switch. And so the HPI unit just has basically 1 yellow wire coming from the stator, and then the other 3 wires go through the CDI plug. So what I've done is I've basically taken these 3 wires leading to the main switch and kind of put them all together 3 to 1 to connect with the yellow on the HPI CDI. And I don't know if that's my problem or what. But anyways, we'll just have to do some more troubleshooting, because we're not getting spark, and of course it's not starting. So I'll be back in a few days, hopefully. We do a little more troubleshooting, see why we're not getting spark. And you know, my initial thought is we need to go from the 3-position switch found on the LB80, or at least some models of the LB80, to perhaps the 2-position switch found on, if I'm not mistaken, most, if not all, models of the LB50. That could be our problem. So I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and I hope I am. But we will, and maybe it's just a wiring issue where I'm grounding out somewhere. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try it. I'm going to disconnect both kill switches and see if that has any effect at all. Well, it might help if I had the keys handy, you know, just saying. Of course, we're kind of flooded out at this point, but, oh my God, are you kidding me? Start, you bastard. Do we want choke? Is it flooded? Put it on prime. Was that the problem? We got too many kill switches? Take it off, choke. Doesn't sound right. What the hell? Let's try something. Alright, we have no kill switch at all. Whatever, at least we're running. Oh yeah, sounds nice. Sounds real nice. Let's take it up and down the drive a second. It's alive. How do I turn it on? It's odd. It's so odd. Well, ladies and gents, we got her running. I just got to figure out, I think I've got just too many grounds. I'll have to figure out what's going on. I'll try something else. We'll be back soon, but hey, we're running. Life is good.